Hey y'all, how's it going? It's me again. My son's sleeping, so thought I'd pop on after the last video. I just wanted to say that, like, a lot of things are going on in my mind. I get downloads. I've been doing some more readings for people. It's been going quite well, so I'm very hopeful of that. And as my views go up, maybe we can start up that whole thing going forward. I honestly, in this time, I've been very to myself, like most of you know, and a lot of things are moving, shaking, changing for all of us. And this idea keeps coming back of like, what's happening? Where's this? What is it? Wait. That's what goes on in my mind, at least. It's like I feel like I have a bunch of people pointing in different directions, just like, what? There is a solemnness, though, and there is a voice, of calmness and, press forward mentality that keeps me centered. But I do obviously have the more like humanistic qualities that are more 3D based, keeping me grounded, keeping me down here with all my peeps. So I come on and try to relay and try to meet up with people and figure out what everyone else is, doing and feeling in their journeys, etc. So I keep coming on. Like I said in the last one about the whole idea of miracles popping off from my fingers and my toes, and about my conclusions about the illusionary force that's coming upon us. I keep getting this idea of a splitting, not just for the couples too. It kept emerging forward after that, but this idea of splitting, like leveling up, leveling down. Like I kept seeing like a cucumber get cut and then split. Like, so I kept thinking that there's maybe this conscious break between those that are falling for the, malarkey or the illusions, or, or just really having some inner battles about it, because I'm sure there's a lot of people on the fence. There's a lot of people that are like, hey, this doesn't seem right. This feels funny. And they're going back and forth, and ultimately they're having a battle within themselves. So, realistically, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting today. So I am going to read a poem that I wrote about it in a bit, but I just wanted to touch upon that. Another funny side note, the day that I put up that video, I'm not kidding, the next day I went out with my son. I was strolling him. I think we were going to like Shoppers Drug Mart. And I was stopped for a minute in front of Scotia Bank, which is the bank we have here. And I'm not kidding. I saw a bearded lady. Like, we all see them like once in a blue, like these women that get older and maybe due to like grown in testosterone, etc., have a mustache and a beard and some sideburns going on. But it just was like kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is in your face too funny, because I had just said that the day before. And she gave me this bewildered look because I was looking at her probably more intensely than I would normally. I usually would probably just glare over and keep going, but because I had just said, I was like, this is not happening. Like, I just like shook my head. And I was like, oh man. I'm like, you think it, and therefore it kind of reminds me of in the movie of The Matrix when I forget the name of the younger guy. He dies quite early in the movie. He puts this very sultry, like, red dressed woman, and your eye catches the woman. So it was kind of one of those implants. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is too funny. So I just wanted to share that. That was a side note. So I feel like I kind of manifested that in a weird way. It was quite comical. But that's not what the whole point of this video was about. This video was more about this idea of like breaking, and not breaking in a bad way, but I kept getting this sense of like a breaking ship, or, I kept thinking for the last weeks of the Titanic over and over again, where it's like the Titanic, as it's like emerging and going towards the iceberg, there's still time to, divert the boat. I know they're going to get hit, but it was a little too late, but perhaps it was always going to end up the way it did, but it took a little while. It wasn't like, oh, they crashed and then it just, took some time. So I keep getting this sensation that because time frames have been pretty, this idea of divine timing, like I talked about in other videos, is upon us right now. Sorry, my dog constantly is eating his bed, and I'm trying to stop him. This idea of divine timing and sitting still, and it gives me this idea that for those of us that are kind of sitting still and whatnot, we're like waiting for guidance as to what the next steps are. So I have a feeling that this waiting period, this working shadow work, is to kind of hone our abilities, hone our skills, so that we can be prepared and or ready to hear, the guidance as to what's next and what's going to happen. If anyone knows me, this is one of my not so strong suits. I can honestly say that I have transformed that too. That was probably my first transformation in terms of like sitting still, because I used to have like a YOLO mentality. Like I was always out. I was always trying to catch the vibe of fun and so for me to just like sit still and stay with my thoughts and be sober and stay with my thoughts and really be in the moment, because I can't predict anything going on in the future. I'm releasing and relinquishing, and I am allowing. So when you're in that mindset, you can't really predict, or you can't really think about the past. Kind of have to stay in the now moment. That's the best way to kind of stay centered and to do the best transmutation work. That's another thing I didn't mention before, the now, because you're able to hone in through, I guess, your lower chakras, this sense of like stability. So that's a necessary tool. You have to be in the present, the now, in order to reflect upon the now, and then challenge things in the now about yourself as the observer. I don't know if I lost all of you there, but let's read a poem instead. Okay, so I guess with all the feelings, this kind of came to me today. It's called Feeling Wavy. The bows have broken, the sterns are stiff, about to crack and lean the ship. The railings vibrate along the quake with a shudder. The ship, flooding out of the gutters. The rats are fleeing, the stage is set. Two halves have split, half up and half down. The levels below are first to drown. As all the other souls are scrambling now, which way to run, to give in or to climb? Up those stairs that wind and wind, for the chance at salvation versus a watery demise. It's not guaranteed they will make it in time. The ones on the upper half are being fought now by those from the lower decks. They're just simply fighting to survive. Those that are instructed and follow the correct course are directed to boats and a freedom of choice. They didn't shake, they didn't quiver. They just listened and headed to their location. Sit still and be patient as the oarmen row, and watch the Titanic go down as she goes. To the bottom of the seas, my son. To the stunted souls lifelessly in the midst of the depth of the Arctic seas below. So that's the general feeling I'm having right now. I'm on this note. I think my son has woken up, so I'm going to end this. But I think we're at an apex point. We're told to harbor in. We're told to focus. We need to make choices. We need to make decisions on things that unfold in the now. We can't really think too much in the future, it seems, and we really can't focus on the past. So everything that's unfolding and presenting itself in the now, like I said, I talked about a bearded lady, saw one. I think things are ramping in a sense. So we either have to stay true to the course or figure out things a lot later down the road and maybe not have enough time. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not morbid, I promise. This is how I'm feeling today. These poems that I get, it's just a general feeling that I'm getting with, the woes of the world maybe. Till next time, I'm going to go take care of him. Thanks. Bye.